Alrighty fellas, episode 2 of Daima came out a few days ago, so you know what time it is. It's time for us to do another review, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm ready to get right into it. In fact, I actually planned to make this video several days ago over the weekend, but my extended family did come over to visit, so this video will come out a bit later than I had intended. But either way, we're gonna go ahead and keep it pushing and continue onward. But before I go ahead and get started with my review, I just want to make sure and warn you guys, if you have not seen the second episode quite yet, pause the video, go ahead and check it out, and then come on back and continue with the video. I'm gonna go ahead and say that in every single review just one time, so that everyone does have a chance at least to avoid spoilers as much as possible. Alright, now let's go ahead and get started, and right away, episode 2 starts off where episode 1 ended, with Goku and the others getting smaller because of Goma's wish with the Dragon Balls. From there, we segue back to Shenron, who's about to bid farewell, but Goma stops Shenron and points out the fact that Shenron has only granted one wish as opposed to the 3 wishes that he normally does. But Shenron actually responds to this by pointing out that the 3-wish rule, which is something we've seen in the show quite often, is something only given to regulars and not to first-timers like Goma, and to be honest, this is a pretty funny change. I mean, it definitely got a laugh out of me when I first saw it, and truth be told, it's actually a change that I kind of like. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's quirky, no doubt about it, but more than anything, it helps to keep the story at a good pace, because now we get to leave the evil third eye as this mysterious item, which we'll probably see later in the show anyhow, and we still get some more mystery left into what Degisu might have used his wish for. Now, if you guys remember in the last episode, he asked Goma to let him take the 3rd wish for himself, but we didn't know exactly what he had in mind for the wish as a whole, so perhaps he would wish that the Supreme Kai was never born, maybe he would wish to change the Demon Realm, but with this new rule of Shenron's, it does help keep that layer of mystery intact. From there, Shenron departs, and we once again transition back to Trunks' party, where Goku and Vegeta come crashing down from their sparring session during the last episode, and we see everyone come to the revelation that they are now small children. And as a quick aside, something that was kind of hilarious to me in this moment was that Krillin was the first to point this out, and right away Goku looks at him almost as if he's insulted, asking what is Krillin even talking about, so that was pretty funny to me. But in any case, we then go into the opening with Jaka-Jan, which we've known for quite a while now is the theme for Daima, but to actually see the opening and to hear the music, it is just so nice, and the animation style once again for this episode was just a chef's kiss. It was so beautiful to watch. But once the opening finishes, we cut back to Goma, who is looking pretty pissed right now, and to be honest, I'm pretty sure I can see Goma questioning his life choices at this point, as he thinks it would have been a better idea to wish for the evil third eye instead. Goma even asks Neva about the possibility of doing his same trick with either the Demon Realm Dragon Balls or with the Earth's Dragon Balls for a second time, and Neva actually answers both parts of this question with different sorts of responses. For the Demon Realm Dragon Balls, Neva answers kind of like a smartass, saying that it will require that they beat the Tamagamis, so it's possible that he in fact designed them to counter such a trick if it were ever used. But also on top of that, with the Earth's Dragon Balls, he even acknowledges that not even he can do the same trick a second time so soon, but it's not made clear to us if this is simply because it drains so much of his power and we couldn't see it from before, or if this is just something to do with the Dragon Balls themselves. Regardless, they still celebrate their partial victory and decide to take Dende, who is now a baby, with them as a sort of hostage. As we come back to our heroes now, who are still coming to the realization of what has happened, we see something kind of interesting here with Goten and Trunks, who are now turned into babies, but they are still able to communicate with each other even though no one else is able to understand them. Krillin even ends up pointing out the fact that while everyone has in fact become smaller in physical stature, they are all still the same within, which means none of them have changed mentally. From there, Shin informs Goku of an odd presence that he felt at the lookout in the last episode, and as Goku flies to check it out, we immediately see some of the impact that Goma's wish has had, as Goku is shown to struggle with basic flight, to which a very young Master Roshi comes in and explains that it is simply because Goku is not used to the balance of his body at the moment. Thus, Kibito prepares to teleport to the lookout and takes Shin, Goku, and Piccolo along with him. Once at the lookout, they talk with Popo, who explains the situation with Goma, Degisu, and Neva. Upon hearing the names, Shin and Kibito react heavily to Degisu, revealing what we already knew, which was that Degisu is Shin's brother, and Piccolo reacts to Neva's name, revealing that Neva was in fact the legendary Namek who chose to stay in the Demon Realm all by himself when the rest of the Namekians left in order to protect the Demon Realm Dragon Balls. Regardless, Goku is immediately ready to go and rescue Dende. However, the Supreme Kai explains that it is not possible to teleport to the Demon Realm without a special type of spaceship, so he sends Kibito back to the realm of the Kais to retrieve the ship that brought him to Universe 7 a long time ago. When we look at the ship, we can clearly see it has not been treated with the best of care, and in fact, it is not functional, so Goku suggests that they get Bulma to fix it, and at this moment, we also realize that, just like Goku, Piccolo is also incapable of basic flight at the moment, which speaks to the fact that currently, at this moment, the Z Fighters are probably at their weakest point now because they are just not familiar with their new bodies, and as we'll see, the more they get used to their bodies again, the more they will regain their skills and prowess in combat. Now, I do want to briefly stop at this moment and just ask, if Goma and the others have observed Goku and the Z Fighters already, they should understand that eventually they will adapt to this, right? So why not seal the deal by taking them out? It is a questionable choice on their part, but to be fair, it's also not entirely clear if they would have stood a chance in combat to begin with as they are, so we're just gonna have to go ahead, let that one go, and keep on watching. But now, Kibito returns with Bulma and Vegeta, who by the way is hard set on getting payback on those who turn him into a child, and as Bulma observes the level of damage on the ship, Kibito explains that the damage has come as a byproduct of the fight between Goku and Vegeta versus Kid Buu during the end of the Majin Buu saga. Regardless though, Bulma is confident that she can rebuild the ship in 10 days and enlists Kibito as a sort of delivery boy, while Supreme Kai reassures everyone that Dende will be safe during this time since Goma and the others kidnapped Dende as opposed to killing him right away, which ultimately suggests that they most likely had special plans in mind. Then we skip 2 days into the future and we see that Goku is getting the hang of his body more and more. However, it's still not fully perfect as his sense of distance and overall battle instincts are not in tune with his new body's shape. Understanding the urgency of the situation, however, and the fact that it will take too long to naturally become reacquainted to his body, he decides to head on down to see Korn in the hopes of getting back his power pole, which was a powerful weapon we saw him use back in OG Dragon Ball. Now, real quick, I just also gotta ask this as well. Why not use the hyperbolic time chamber to regain his battle instincts and become familiar with his body again? I doubt it would take the whole year within the chamber, and we've seen him and the others use it before for training purposes, so this seems like the ideal time to go and use it to their advantage, but I imagine this is a writing choice to help add more weight and stakes to their change into smaller children. In the meantime, we get some more exposition explaining that while the individuals with pointy ears usually have origins from the demon realm, that is not necessarily the case for everyone, and Kibito adds on to that a long time ago, traveling was in fact quite common within the demon realm as some left for freedom or to conquer other worlds, but eventually, traveling became forbidden except for a select few who are granted permission. As we see Goku talk to Korn, we learn he no longer has the power pole in his possession, but instead he left it to Master Roshi, who we come to find is basking in the glory of his youthful self, though I'm not gonna lie, every time I see him now, I think that's Krillin for a split second. I know I'm not the only one, but that will be a bit of an adjustment for all of us, I suppose. In any case, Goku and Roshi talk about the location of the power pole when we notice Roshi had forgotten that he set up Goku's power pole to be used for his laundry. Regardless though, Goku regains possession of his beloved power pole. I'm pretty sure there's an innuendo of sorts there. And returns to the lookout where he shows off those insane skills of his and reveals to all of us that he has not lost a single step with his weapon. And honestly, it is so dope to see him have it once again, and I'm really excited to that end to see what he'll do with it throughout the series. As they begin to eat dinner, Goku actually asks Piccolo about the demon realm, but Piccolo reveals that he has no memory of it because he was not born back then, and perhaps Kami or Demon King Piccolo would have had more knowledge about it, but from what Piccolo remembers, the area where the Nameks lived was in fact nice, but they ultimately left because as a people, they do not like to be ruled, so that does leave the question of who was potentially the king of the realm where the Nameks resided. We may learn more about that in future episodes, but that is definitely some Dragon Ball history that I would be very interested to learn more about. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a ship pops out onto the lookout, and Popo explains that the ship is in fact similar to what Goma and the others used to come from the demon realm. But instead of it being Goma, or Degasu, or even someone like Dr. Aransu, who by the way, we do not see in the episode at all, Glorio pops out and introduces himself to the others and requests that Goku come with him to the demon realm to defeat King Goma. Now, the Supreme Kai apparently knows of Goma and reaffirms what I and many others had suspected since the last episode, which is that while he is small in stature, Goma is still very powerful and crafty, though we still do not know exactly the full extent of Goma's power. Glorio also reveals that his knowledge of Goku comes from the king of the third demon world who observed Goku's fight with Kid Buu and secretly sent Glorio on his current mission. Now, to briefly dive into this a bit more, we already know that there are 3 Dragon Balls for the demon realm, and if it's similar to how Namek kept the 7 Dragon Balls with the village leaders, then it's probably safe to assume that each of the Dragon Balls are in the possession of one of the 3 kings of the demon realm. Ultimately, the Supreme Kai decides to join Glorio and Goku as they head into the Demon Realm to rescue Dende and to defeat Goma and the others who turn them into children. And Bulma real quick checks Glorio's ship, allowing her to speed up her repairs, but we don't exactly know by how much. As Goku and the others prepare to leave though, Vegeta insists on tagging along as well, but Glorio and the Supreme Kai say that only 3 can join on the ship, leaving the others to be left behind until Bulma is able to complete the repairs, while Goku, Shin, and Glorio begin traveling to the Demon Realm, which is where the episode ultimately comes to an end. Now, to be quite honest, when it comes to my feelings for this episode, I thought it was still really good. The first episode focused a lot on the antagonists and providing exposition from their perspective, while this time around, of course, we're on the hero side of things and seeing exposition from their end. And obviously, with the whole story's focus being in the Demon Realm, there is a great deal of world building that needs to be done, and I think in terms of the pacing and how it's done, this episode, just like the last one, does a fantastic job. And ultimately, when it comes to giving a score for this episode, overall, I would give this episode a 9 out of 10. Not necessarily on the same level as episode 1 in my opinion, but also not that far away from it, especially considering that this was much shorter in length compared to episode 1. Now, what I will also do for these reviews is include my average score for the series as well, up to the current episode. So, with that in mind, so far the average score that I'll be giving Daima 2 episodes in will be a very strong 9.5 out of 10. And by the way, now that we're heading into the Demon Realm, I am just so excited and curious to see where we go from here. There are a lot of things to look forward to, of course some more world building, a lot of exposition as well, and also hopefully very soon, we can see Super Saiyan Goku come to play, because Super Saiyan is my favorite form for Goku, so I really am craving some Super Saiyan Goku action. Hopefully we'll see it very soon, but man, 2 episodes in, Daima has got me hooked. I said it for the title in the first episode review, but Daima has got me hooked. It's got me just so excited to see more and more and more of Daima. And so far, it's just been a blast with the 2 episodes we've gotten so far. In any case, that's going to be it for the review today. If you guys enjoyed it, definitely drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel as well, and comment down below what are your guys' thoughts on the second episode of Dragon Ball Daima, and feel free to check out some of the other vids on the channel as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.